Hello. This is what the topic of the talk was. And through listening to other people and seeing all of you here, I can very much say I'm not the late bird, so that's the answer. I would instead like to focus on the second part, which is how might we introduce Gen Z to the indie world. So, making the most of my time here. Uh, Hello again, I'm Abhigyan Tripathi. I'm also known as Abhigyan Trips, or the guy who owns Abhi.now. I'm 21 years old, and I'm not known. Wait, where was I? Yeah. Uh, I'm from the generation that Hank Green calls the medium young generation, but you guys probably know as Gen Z. Now, I've always been interested in technology, and most of it was figuring out how to play offline video games or taking the RAM out of the computer while it was still running. But my first interaction with the internet was definitely with visual media and the social web. It was weird to have that, now that I think about it. Receiving new content without asking for it was a given. And subscribing to other people's life updates was cheap and did not require talking to them in real life. I considered this environment natural. Now, I won't be throwing shade on social media today because I only have 8 minutes, but it definitely trained me to look at the internet a certain way. I was an avid bookworm, but the most text I had ever read on the web was someone reposting a Tumblr post on Instagram, and that's it. Time online for me was to be spent looking at visual multimedia, other people's lives, glimpses into other people's lives through photos and videos. Continuing through this for almost a decade left me overwhelmed. Uh, there's not enough to say for this, but every time you go on there, it feels like you're a part of every single thing and yet not involved in it. I crave depth and somehow belonging through that depth. And through the noise, through looking for an answer, is when in November, I found on Opening District an IndieWebClub meetup. And I haven't looked back since. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. It felt fresh. It was as if the world expanded. There were all these people talking about their life stories, their interests, and it was interesting, it was vast, and it felt endless, like how social media was meant to be. I'm definitely not the only one from my generation that's feeling this. And I'm definitely not the only one who would look at the indie web and think of it as the solution. And so this feeling that I felt of a bird that's flying away from a silo, finally free, is what I want to share with other people from my generation. The great blogging era, as I was referring to it before, did not disappear. It just came in under the new label of the indie web and has existed ever since. So I would like to invite you into our chronically online minds and look into a solution for us semi-technical people that can help us join this online neighborhood we have built. The first question is, what does Gen Z think about the indie web? Big question. The first thing is that the techies and the hardcore writers have already found their place, right? We have Amrita.town, which is a web ring that already exists for Amrita University in Bangalore. Aditya Nair and Nititsuki from our community are a part of it, and it's just a collection of personal websites from their college. They already have this. And similarly, people who are hardcore writers who wanted to have a space to write just found one where they didn't have to maintain anything. There are options already like Matro, Bearblog, Medium.com, which was my first interaction with a blog ever, which was mostly to fix an error in a piece of code, but still something. And then Substack, yeah. Out of the people, leaving these people, we have the leftover groups, which I've divided into three parts. The first is the disbelievers who don't see the point in maintaining your own website and maintaining your own content when Zuck has built such a nice place for all of us. The second are the consumers who want to be a part of it, but more so just reading through other people's diaries or directories. And the third are the contributors who are the actual people who will be contributing in the future. So I've now labeled them in euphemisms as people who will turn into indie tourists, the indie readers, and the future indie webbers. The second final question is, how might we introduce Gen Z to the indie web? Here, I have a list of 7 or 8 different things which are existing ideas and also things that we can bring forth now, which I'll be going through quickly because most of these have actually been explained already. It saves me time. First is Posse. Publish on your own site, syndicate everywhere. According to this beautiful diagram from the IndieWeb wiki, you publish on your own site, and then you cross-post links to other silos where people exist, making sure that they can visit you, but then they don't have to leave their current platform they're on. Second, simplicity in consumption. Now, we have heard of RSS readers before, but the very fact that you have to think about an RSS feed or get it from somewhere or make sure that you are looking at the right XML format is a lot of work. We are looking at people who are coming from a completely frictionless area because every interaction was contained in the same platform. So we need to make sure that even tiny frictional parts like this can be removed. Because the same way that when you look at Gmail, you don't think about it's working on IMAP or SMTP or POP3, you shouldn't have to look at a site reader and think about whether it's using RSS or XML or an OPML file. Which is why bringing this into site readers and notifiers, we once again have to look at why do we have to add an RSS file where if we have a sitemap of a website, we can do the work of going through the sitemap, looking for the RSS files ourselves on the application's end, and then letting the user select which feed they want to subscribe to. They can move forward with that. They see all the sites they are subscribed to as the same way they would see it on something like YouTube, and they consume. That's how it is. We also have notifications because, once again, polling is something that the application can decide and do in the background. There's something as techies that we can take part of and implement ourselves, not having the reader worry about it. Another thing is independent commenting. We have seen web mentions as Yash proposed. This is an example from Abhinav's website where he's implemented reactions, and he also has comments and other mentions from other websites. But people don't really want to worry about that, right? Web mentions work on being hosted somewhere on some website, which then pings the website it mentioned, and then they get informed. We can have ways like browser extensions, which do the part of looking at different websites, look for an actual pingback mechanism, and do the part of hosting that comment somewhere without, once again, the reader having to worry about it. Discovery algorithms. Now, as algorithm babies, we like our surfing to be done for us. We don't want to do the work of looking for interests or curations, which is why something like the Kagi Small Web is a great example of something that can let you curate as per topics and then move forward. I did realize that I don't have more time, so I will be going through these very quickly. Now, IndieWebClub Bangalore Archive is another great example of archiving all of our old posts and letting you look through it as a library. The same way you would walk into a library, you can archive by year, by post one, this is the number go up graph, as you've seen. Existing writing platforms. We have examples of Materoa from our own community, Half There and Achilles, who have taken, they just want to write, they have taken the best, easiest way to do it, and they have started writing. Virality factor and expression. We live on hashtags. We live on the fact that there is something that connects us as an interest or as a circle. We are also aware of how many interactions we can get from this, but we also, to link it back to IndieWeb, have the option of web rings where we all connect each other to each other's websites through a community. I wanted to propose a way to connect to each other's websites through an event or an idea or an interest, so that you can look at something that is trending. You can look at a hashtag and then have people who have opinions revolving around that hashtag. This is another thing that comes in, our free expression. Since the number of censorship requests have gone up on social media websites, it is a great time for people to look for their own independent spaces to create. The last part is community. Once again, if I didn't find this place and if we didn't have a year anniversary, we wouldn't have probably gone through the process of writing and publishing. So having a physical community is very important. And that's something we should look for everywhere we go. That's it from my end. Thank you.